Hello, welcome to another episode of Generally Speaking. Today is Wednesday, April 8th, 2026. Let's get this show on the road. What's going on? Well, we got Pete Hegseth, Department of War, firing the head of the Army, the general, chief top guy. Why? Because he's not compliant enough. Wasn't willing to reject the nominations of a couple of women and a black person, which Hegseth hates. And Hegseth said, "Oh, well, if you're not going to reject them, which they were, more than qualified to be there, then you're out." This goes along with lots of other people he's fired, so that he'll have a compliant military, one that'll do everything he says, won't think twice, just be a bunch of yes men. All right, what else we got here? We've got the Department of Justice, still trying to get states' records, voting rolls, so that they can purge people and say, look at all these people that shouldn't have been on these rolls. There's all fraud, and so they're going to try and interrupt the midterm elections if they can, possibly, and certainly the 2028 elections. All right, if you like this channel so far, please give a like, a subscribe, a notify, make a comment, and let's keep going. So this is Generally Speaking, could be talking about anything. So this right now, I want to talk about socks. Socks. What about socks? Well, I was just thinking, I was putting on my socks. What's nice about socks is you don't have to worry if it's on your left foot, if it's on your right foot, because socks aren't like that. And then I looked down at my socks, and what did I see? Left and right. Just when I was thinking that. Now that's a coincidence. Left and right socks. All right, well, so much for socks. What else do we got here? What is love? Love, love, love. I was watching a movie, these two people meet, and their eyes go googly, and they're in love. Meanwhile, they don't even know each other yet. They have no idea what they both, have in common, who sleeps late, who gets up early, who smokes, who doesn't, who likes rock, who likes, classical, who likes this food, that food, who's this politically way, that politically, love is not the kind of thing where you just love someone. But you know what? Sometimes it is. Sometimes you don't have anything in common, and yet you still love each other. That's strange, but that's love. All right, the DOJ is arguing that the Presidential Records Act is unconstitutional. Presidential Records Act, that happened after Nixon messing around with the records, trying to erase things, and so Congress said the president can't erase anything. So now they're trying to say, yeah, that was unconstitutional. Yeah, we can erase things because we have a lot of things that we want to erase, and that's the way this president runs. The United Kingdom joins France, Italy, Austria, Spain in denying the use of airspace and air bases to the U.S. military. Now, sometimes statements are made and you think you understand them, but the devil's in the details. So what detail are we talking about here? Well, the UK was, saying you can't use it for attacks on civilian infrastructure. So otherwise, it's perfectly fine to go in there and bomb all the military stuff, even though it's an illegal war, just going in and invading a country that had nothing to do with you. You can do that, but at least they're saying you can't go and attack civilian structures. Of course, how do they know that? They'll be there on the base and say, yeah, we're just going after military stuff. And once they're in the air, they're over Iran, they might just bomb whatever. Oh, that wasn't a base? Oh, that was a hospital? Gee, how did that happen? The French, like any other country, have, stocks and bonds, and they also have precious metals, silvers and gold. Now, after World War II, there was a little concern with the Europeans about having gold, that an enemy power like Germany just was might come in and take all the gold. So what they did is they kept their gold in the United States on the other side of the Atlantic, far away from the action. It should be safe there. But with the way the United States has been behaving lately and the way they've been managing the economy, France and Germany already have said, I think it might be better for us now to take our gold back. We want to have the gold over here. Germany already did that. They took their gold. Now France was going to take their gold. But believe it or not, the gold wasn't there. The gold wasn't there. What was going on with the gold? Where did it go? Well, now this story that I was listening to didn't say where the gold went, but it did say, how it was dealt with. France decided to sell the gold, which I thought was very curious, because who would buy the gold that isn't there? But it's on the books, it's on the records, and sometimes books are good enough. I mean, you consider all the money that's in the bank. Really, all that money isn't there. It's like if it's not there. It's just on the books. So I guess they can say, yeah, I'm selling this gold even if it's not there. And so they sold it. They got the money for it. Then what they do? Then they bought some other gold somewhere else, and then I guess they're going to have that transported into their safekeeping places. Iran is offering Europe passage through the Hormuz. Imagine that. Europe was with the United States, and anybody with the United States couldn't get through. But, I guess, Europe was making some moves about, look, you can't use our bases. We're not going to come and help you in this war. And so Iran said, you can come through, but you got to pay, because now that's the way they work this. You want to come through the Strait of Hormuz, you got to pay like $1 a barrel. It comes to like $1 million or $2 million per ship. And yeah, you can pay it, but you have to pay us in euros. No dollars, no dollars. Now they've already got China coming through, and they're paying in the Chinese currency, yuan. So this is all just another effort to undermine the US dollar on the one hand, but also to have euro funds, so that if they want to purchase things from Europe, they've got the euro dollars to do it. It's what the world's moving more and more towards, currencies in the national currency as opposed to everything's in the dollars. And this is like one of the things people point to as the decline of the American empire. The dollar, which was the almighty dollar, is now becoming less and less so. All right, Russia is preparing to send a second oil tanker to Cuba. They sent one. The United States supposedly was blockading it. They wouldn't let Mexico or Venezuela put any, but Russia, they let through. And now Russia is preparing a second tanker. I don't know if they're, giving them this fuel for free. It's not like Cuba has a lot to pay, back these things. But at any rate, they're going to send a second one now. Thank goodness. It's a terrible thing what we're doing to Cuba. All right, so there you go. Such quick things, quick and happy. And I hope you enjoyed it. Please give a like, give a subscribe, give a notify, and have a nice day.